and son. I'm Chef Kyle. This is my assistant, Blake. And we want to welcome you guys to our episode on banana bread. All right, so banana bread is pretty cool. You want to wait till your bananas get really ripened like this, because that's more what's going to come out when it's brown like this.
Sweet?
More sweet, yes. All right, so we're going to let Blake go ahead and start opening up these bananas and getting them mashed up, because we're going to use 5 large whole bananas. Now, your bananas may or may not be this big, so if they're not this big, you can use 6. We're doing a really large batch today, so once we give you guys the recipe, you'll be able to shrink down, scale back the recipe as needed. All right, so Blake, you're going to open those up. You're just going to put them inside this bag here. All right, so take your time with that. The trash is right here. All right, so while Blake's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spray down our pan. So I have the regular standard size loaf pans. You're good. Go ahead, bud. All right, the standard size loaf pans here. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to mix it up a little bit and use these mini pans as well. So one of the cool tricks that I do, in addition to spraying the pan, all right, you got it, bud?
Yeah.
All right, and you always want to spray your pan upright. That keeps it from stopping on you. All right, so I'm going to do one large pan. All right, and then I have these little ones here that I'm going to spray. I'm going to show you guys a cool trick that helps the bread release even more so than just spraying it down. All right, get that a good spray. All right, no peels in there, right?
Yep.
All right, awesome. All right, so I sprayed those. I think I'm gonna do one more. Like I said, this is a pretty large batch. You can always scale back. We're gonna go ahead and get this started. I'm just using the butter flavored pan spray, but you can use whatever you have in your pantry. So what I have here are some sheets of parchment paper. You can also use wax paper, but when it comes time, you know, sometimes it gets stuck in the corners and you're like, I can't get it out. So this is gonna help where we're actually gonna use a lip. Right, so we're going to leave a little bit hanging over, just so that when we get all the batter in there and it gets done cooking, you can just use the edges to pop it out when you flip it over. Yes, sir. Oh, that's all right. You're going to mash them up anyway. That's all right. Okay, doesn't that make sense? All right, so you just get those in there. You know, these are good for the parchment paper is actually good to use for non-sticking items anyway. So it's actually perfect that we're using them in here. And so we have that. You just kind of, you know, seal it down to the bottom and in the corners. And once you get it down in there, right, it just holds in there like that. And so we'll be able to pour our batter straight on. All right. And once we do that, I also have these miniature ones that I cut for the little pans too. So this is part of our mise en place, having everything in place, right? Even if it's not measured out, we have it here. It's ready to go, and we can make sure that we get it down in the pan. All right, so we have it here today, and we're gonna make sure that when we're done with those bananas, Blake, what's the first thing you think we're gonna do? All right, now go wash your hands for me, please, bud.
Okay.
All right, so when you have assistants, when you have free labor, child labor, I know it's illegal in some countries, but when you have child labor, you do have to help wherever you can. So because this is staying in the house, thank goodness, that's okay. You are gonna smash them. I'm just sealing the bag for you. You just got to look over your shoulder every now and then, make sure you're watching everything that they're doing. So I'm glad that my camera person has eyes that helped me to see what they saw, to see what was going on to the next to me. So
who's your camera person today?
It's my beautiful wife, Kimberly, Dr. Kim. For those of you who don't know her, Dr. Kimberly Hires. All right, you guys can follow her, Dr. Kim. She is beautiful. I love her. Blake's mom. Has been his mom for how many years now? How old did you just turn last week?
8.
8, yes. All right, so he had a birthday last Thursday.
Yes.
And we had a good time here in the house as much as we could. So, go ahead and mash those up, buddy. Use all those muscles you got since you're working on your abs. How many abs do you have now?
Let's say 2.
2 abs. I have 2, but they're more like liters instead of abs. So it's like, instead of a 6-pack, mine is more like 2 liters.
Where are the rest of your abs, Blake? What are they doing?
They're still coming.
They're still coming? What are they? Are they resting? Are they sleeping? What's happening?
They're sleeping. Actually, they're hibernating.
They're hibernating. Yes, that's what mine have been doing for a few years now. But yes, you mash those up good too, but keep going. I don't want any big banana chunks in there.
Turn them into baby food.
Ooh,
Turn it into baby food.
That was one of your favorite things that Daddy used to make for you too when you were little.
Mashed up banana.
Yep. Really easy to make. And you've always enjoyed it ever since. There you go. Get a little bit of anger out. Good job. All right, so we've got the parchment here. About down to my last few pieces. All right, got that.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, those look great. All right, but so this is I'm actually doing a new recipe that I'm trying. So hopefully this works out beautifully. But we're gonna do, it's okay. We're gonna do a combination of different sugars. Yeah, so sugar is actually gonna be the first thing that we measure out. And then we're also gonna do, I ran out of regular all-purpose flour because I guess a lot of people have been baking at home. So I'm using a gluten-free one, which I'm sure will make some people happy that are watching their waistline. So got a gluten-free flour here. And we're also going to use a little bit of monk sugar or monk fruit sugar, which is a sweetener, which is actually better for you than regular sugar in some ways. Good job with the mashing. All right, hold on there. All right, so Blake, we got our oven preheated. Let's see how you did. Nice.
Good job, Blake.
Good job, dude. All right, so we're going to save that till the end. All right, so we don't need that right now, but what we do need is we're going to go ahead and get our sugars in a bowl. So I need you to measure, all right, 1 cup, or you hold that for me. Hold this one. I'm going to measure. This is our monk fruit sweetener. All right, so we're going to put 1 cup of that in. You're going to put it in that bowl closest to us.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
This
Right there. That bowl right there. Gently. All right. I'm going to do 1 cup of coconut sugar. That's going to help to intensify some of our flavor. Go ahead and put that back down for me, bud. All right. We got 1 cup.
I'll put it into there.
You get a little smell of that. That's coconut sugar. It's really awesome.
Con cuidado, Blake.
All right. There you go, bud. Then we get 1 cup of cane sugar, organic cane sugar. All right. And this will be our last one. So I know it seems like a lot of sugar, but you need usually about 1 cup per batch. So we're doing like a triple batch. So, all right. So we have all of our sugars in there. Now we're going to take our butter. All right, so I want you to go ahead and start whisking that up. I'm going to get our melted butter and melted coconut oil and do it nice and slow, Blake. Hold your hand. There you go. You've been learning, man. I like that. All right.
From my grandma.
Oh, from your grandma only, huh?
And my dad too.
I was going to say, that hurts, dude.
That's also my dad.
Okay. So we have about 1 cup of melted butter. That's 2 sticks. And then I did a 1/2 cup of melted coconut oil. Awesome. All right, so go ahead and mix that in. Whisk that around. Hold it with get your hands. We use 2 hands. God bless us with 2. We're going to use 2, okay? Awesome. All right, so while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get the eggs cracked. All right, and you're going to add the eggs in there as well. All right, so you got to make sure you're stirring. All right, get the sides, get the edges, okay? Get that in there, okay? I'm going to go ahead and you keep mixing. I got this. All right, so parents, if you want to let your kids get involved with the eggs, you're welcome to. There you go. Just push down on it and then stir it around. All right, and what I usually advise, if you're not careful and skilled with egg cracking, go ahead and crack it in a separate bowl and then add it in so that you don't get any shells. I'm doing it with 2 hands so that I can make sure I don't get any shells. Usually I do 1 hand and then I get shells everywhere, but hey, we're always learning, huh? All right, so get a good stir. All right, get another one in there, and I got 1 more to add, Blake, and then we're done. So it's gonna be 6 eggs with our 3 cups of sugar. And if you don't have all those sugars that I mentioned, you're welcome to use whatever you have. That's just fine. All right, so get the sides. You gotta get the wall, even though you can't see it, you gotta be able to get it. All right, nice and slow. All right, get all the way down to the bottom. All the way. All right, you got it? Okay, good job. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands. I got a little bit of egg on there. All right, so
Look
this.
at this.
All right, nice. Good job. All right, I'm gonna actually switch you over to the spoon here in a little bit. Any questions right now from our audience?
No, but we have quite a few people watching.
Good. I'm glad they're entertained. Nice little family cooking show here. So I can't talk like I usually talk in the chef kitchen because we like Gordon Ramsay around us. All right, just kidding. That's let that. All right. So what we have here as well. because we're going to do a couple of batches, I'm not a big fan of walnuts. My wife likes them,
Yeah.
but she doesn't like chocolate chips. Me and my son do. So we're going to actually add the chocolate chips to some of our smaller ones. And then the bigger batches, one will be plain and one will be walnuts. It's pretty good. I want you to get a little bit more. Oh, is this our hand?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Smelled it. Go wash your hands just to be
All right,
safe.
just in case, go ahead and wash your hands, bud.
Okay.
All right. So while Blake's washing his hands, I'm just going to go ahead and switch over to our mixing spoon. All right. So you get the edges, get it incorporated. You want to use a deeper bowl, like I said, with this bigger batch. All right. And don't be afraid to get it mixed in, get it incorporated. Visually impaired folks.
I have a question.
Okay.
Since you put 3 different types of sugars in there, is there one that will take longer to break down?
Not exactly. So what they offer, as I was learning, or what they advertised when I was learning about the different sugars, is that they're supposed to all be similar to white granulated sugar. They're all supposed to break down at the same rate, and you're not supposed to get any graininess or anything like that. If we would have went with the brown sugar, that's something where we have to mix a little bit longer. That one does appear to be grainy, but the monk fruit sweetener is really fine. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, substitution ratio. And the coconut sugar, it is coconut, so you will taste some of those granules, which I was hoping for with this. Actually got inspired from a donut recipe, so that's why I pulled it out. But, okay, so with that, so we added the eggs. Now we're gonna add vanilla. So Blake, you are going to add 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla. Remember, tablespoons are the big ones on here, okay? So you're gonna hold this with your left hand over the bowl. With your left hand, come on, go back around, closer. There you go. All right, pour slowly into your measuring spoon. Slowly, 1 tablespoon. Nice, okay, pour it in. And now only fill it up halfway this time. Nice, that's good. Don't worry, I love the flavor of vanilla. Drop it in. Okay, put it all in there. Good job.
Go, Blake. Good job.
All right, so Daddy's gonna add a pinch of nut. It does smell good, doesn't it? All right, that's a little bit of nutmeg. I just like the flavor of nutmeg. I feel like it goes perfectly with this flavor profile that we're going. And usually wherever I have nutmeg, I usually have cinnamon, not far behind. So I'm gonna do a little bit of cinnamon, probably about 1.5 teaspoons or so of cinnamon. Sorry about that, buddy. Gave you a little cinnamon shower.
It's okay.
All right, so we're gonna get that here cleaned up. So we added our vanilla, our eggs, and our cinnamon. Blake, go ahead and give us another stir. Get all that stuff incorporated. Remember to hold the side of the bowl. I'm just gonna rinse this off my hands real quick. When I come back, Blake, we're gonna mix our dry ingredients. We're gonna mix our dry ingredients in the other bowl.
Go ahead and mix it.
So the good thing about what you're doing, Blake, is you can't really overmix that part of it. When you start to add in the flour and the baking soda, that's when you can start over mixing, and it can get really dense, and it can be really tough to eat, and it's
What does
chewy.
that mean?
Dense means it's like really heavy, and it's not as light as you want it to be when you bite into it. You want it to be light, you want it to be fluffy. So with that, we're actually using Greek
Like this
yogurt.
kind, brown?
That's perfect right now. So Greek
2
yogurt
hands, Blake.
as opposed to sour cream. I don't know why he's trying to be cool. I guess he thinks some ladies are checking him out and he's trying to post
Okay.
up. All right. So we're gonna go ahead, Blake, and we're gonna get the flour in, and I need 4.5 cups of flour. So these are both cups, right? So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna switch over. I want you to bring this bowl closer to us now. All right. This is gonna stay with our Greek yogurt. All right. So now. This is a all-purpose, gluten-free all-purpose flour that we're using. Part of the way through. And I could use it all the way through, but I don't think I have enough. So I'm gonna stretch it with some regular all-purpose flour, which I also don't have enough of. So just kind of doing a half-tea type ordeal. Go ahead and put that in, Blake, right now for me. Okay, make sure you have, yeah. That was a weird corn method you did. Flung it over your shoulder. All right. And then I'm going to use the regular all-purpose. Yeah, definitely didn't have enough of this. So how many cups is that so far, Blake? How many did we?
2.5.
Just 2. This is going to be 3.
Okay.
Grab it comfortably. There you go. Why are you being scared, man?
Sorry.
You're 8 years old now. Expecting big things out of you. All right. So that's 3. All right, this is gonna make 4. And usually you're supposed to level this off, pat it down and all that good stuff. Yeah, there you go, bud. Take control, go. Go carefully though. Alright. Alright, there's our. Alright, so we got 4.5 cups of overall all-purpose flour in our bag. So now we're gonna mix it around and just kind of incorporate a little bit of air with our whisk. Go ahead and dump whatever you got in there. Good job. Perfect. Right, go ahead and keep whisking that. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of baking soda.
Okay, Dad.
You alright?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna add a tablespoon of baking soda. Alright, so typically we need to clean this off, but it's all going into the same recipe, so we're all good. Alright. Baking soda. And did you get our salt out, Chef?
Yep, I think I did.
I don't think you did, because I don't see it. But that's alright. I'm gonna grab our salt. You keep whisking it up. I'm going to go to the gallery, see if we have any questions from our audience.
No questions so far.
We still got viewers at least?
Yes.
Nice. All right, so we got 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and that was 1 tablespoon of baking soda that I added. So what I did to come up with this recipe, Blake, I actually just looked at a few recipes that I really liked in the past. Some were from your grandma that I had in my old cookbooks, and some were from a couple of other sites that I use.
Like Grandpa Curtis?
No, not Grandpa Curtis. He wasn't really a baker. But I did find some recipes that I liked, and I put those together. And then I also put some of the stuff that I like. Like none of the recipes I like have cinnamon and nutmeg in them. But I said, I like cinnamon and nutmeg, so I'm going to use them. All right, but while you're doing that, I'm going to crush up these walnuts, because they are going to get mixed in.
Hold your bowl, Blake. Always hold your bowl.
Oh, wow, look at that coming from the chef over there, huh?
You got replaced.
Who did? Me or you?
You.
I got replaced?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. All right, so we got that going. Man, be careful. You can keep your flour in the bowl. All right, slowly right now.
It's a little tense.
All right, just a little bit, okay. All right, I'm just gonna crush up some of these walnuts. Some people, you might like your walnuts whole. You may want to decorate the top of your banana bread. That's perfectly fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and get them crushed up, because if I eat it, I don't want to be biting into like whole walnuts. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
All
Try to
right.
go for half.
Or smaller pieces. But anyway, all right, so I got those crushed up, Blake. And now we're going to add this to our butter mixture. So go ahead and stop whisking.
We have a comment from Elizabeth. She said she would love to see a Seminole themed cake.
Oh,
As a hurricane, I won't be eating any, but
How about,
well, we can go ahead and
how about that?
switch it up here if you want.
How about that be our next food?
We can really represent here
Today?
for the nose. So this is my big no blooded shirt made by my friend Donnell Butler, Jacksonville, Florida's finest. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mixed up. But what I want you to do is to slowly pour this into here, and I'm gonna stir slowly while you're doing it. All right? Yeah. Ooh, you're gonna do a lot. Okay, slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Slow down. That means stop pouring, okay? Or just pour it off. Great, you just wanted to get that over with, huh? I thought you worked out, man.
Of course I did.
Okay, well, that, you should be able to hold the bowl up. So, with that done, good job, Chef, cleaning up while you go. All right, I don't want to hit you with an elbow again. We're going to give that a stir. All right, until we get this all incorporated. You want to do it slowly so that you don't run into what just happened here. But this, when you get that issue, if that does happen, just kind of fold it back and forth so that you don't overmix. And as you're folding it back and forth, it'll kind of get everything incorporated. All right, and as we add our bananas and our Greek yogurt, we're actually just going to continue to fold.
all right. Since you just cleaned the floor, go ahead and wash your hands.
Man, that is great having her around. So I'm going to go ahead and add the Greek yogurt. This is about 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt. All right, and I can use the same spoon because it's all going to be used to mix. And then the young man that did the bananas, I'm going to make sure he can come back and do the bananas for us in just a minute. All right, so we get that here. Seminole themed cake. Yep.
Yolene said no hurricane cakes.
Not at all. Never happened in this house. If it does, it'll hurricane itself right out this window.
Say what you want on camera.
She's lucky to have this mask on.
I might do
You're doing
Okay,
awesome,
Chef
baby.
Blake. Chef Blake. I need these bananas into here, my sir.
Can I do that?
You turn the bag and you hold it. All right, you start. I'll do this. You start slowly. I'll do the bananas.
Elizabeth, his Instagram handle is Chef Kyle Hires.
And we also have a YouTube channel that goes by the same name. Okay, I lost a little bit of banana, Blake. I'm sorry. All right, so what Blake is doing here is something I used to have to train my students not to do back when I was teaching in a classroom. For culinary arts is when you get the things, your items added. Okay, I'm gonna take this off real quick, Elizabeth. Sorry. So, all right, so we're getting everything incorporated. I'm gonna move a little bit closer for you guys. So now it's starting to look more like a banana bread mixture. And we're just folding it in, making sure we get all the corners. So using the back and the bottom of your spoon to really push the stuff off the bottom and stir it around, get your edges. And we have a few chunks of bananas in there, and that's good. It's banana bread, so you know, if you have it, it's gonna be great. All right, so I want to do that. Don't want to overmix. So I'm gonna stop about right here. And unfortunately, it takes about an hour to cook, and I'm not gonna put you guys through that this entire hour. So we're gonna go ahead and get panned up, and we're gonna wrap up our show, Blake.
I got class tomorrow.
That's okay.
Blake has class tomorrow, so he's letting you guys know that he will be. But like I said, we're going to fill them about 1/3 to a half of the way. And when you fill them about 1/3, half the way, same thing goes for the little ones. Because of the baking soda, because of the flour and the eggs, it's going to rise, right? So baking is chemistry. You have to be patient. So it's going to be about an hour process. So that's why I said we're not going to be here live for a whole hour because somebody has to go to bed. But
No.
um,
Dad can handle 8.
he can handle 8, but that'll only be 30 minutes in the oven. So our oven, once again, is preheated to 350. Our oven's actually preheated to 325 because it's convection oven. Convection oven is the fan pushing the heat around, pushing the air around, blowing it around so that everything cooks evenly as opposed to just cooking from the top and the bottom. So anyway, we're gonna get these in the oven. We're gonna plate up, get cleaned up, and then we'll be back with pictures and video taste testing a little bit later. If not tonight, then tomorrow. Thank you guys for tuning in to Chef and Son, and we'll see you guys next time where we'll be baking. I'm not sure what, maybe something with apples. We'll let you guys know. But thank you guys for tuning in. Stay safe, stay home, take care.
Bye.
Bye.